This is The Clash, where the real world clashes with a true Christian worldview. Join former professional wrestler Chris Whaley, known as the Masked Saint, who is an author, pastor, and teacher that brings his wrestling skills into the squared circle and tackles real-life issues. Along with Jeff Dixon, best-selling author, internationally known teacher, leader, and pastor who is not afraid to tackle the tough issues of the world we live in. Together they form a tag team of wisdom in The Clash.
Welcome to The Clash, where we take a Christian worldview and allow it to clash into the culture around us. And when we're done, hopefully we will say something that will educate, encourage, and maybe entertain you just a little bit. I'm Jeff Dixon, and I'm sitting in this chair on this side of the room, but I'm only a mere placeholder, because the real power, force, star of this television show is none other than former professional wrestler, the Saint, Chris Whaley. Dr. Whaley, how are you doing?
Are we going to make them think also?
We might. Well, I don't know. We may not. This may be one of those episodes where, this is kind of a brainless episode. I'm not sure. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think we're going to make them think on this one.
What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about conspiracy theories.
Wow. Okay. So we're going to basically then let conspiracy theories clash into the culture around us and come up with some kind of coherent Christian thought when we're done, right?
Right. Because
we don't have a half hour.
Christians don't always come out on the right end on this one either.
Yeah, that's true, they don't.
Yeah, so anyway, I know there's a great possibility we're going to make somebody mad.
Well, if we don't, we haven't done our job very
well.
There we go. Maybe that's going to be you, but find out. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you after we take a quick break. Hi, I'm Jeff Dixon, one of the hosts of The Clash, and that's where you're used to seeing me, but I'm also the pastor of the church at 434 in Winter Springs here in Central Florida. And we got something really cool that's happening. God is moving among us as a people. We are a church on the move, and we are a home for folks that are trying to touch and change the world. And we have one of the greatest opportunities before us we've ever had. We got space issues. That's right, we're out of space. And we're in the midst of what we're calling a space program. We're not building a building per se, because that would be, too easy to talk about. What we're doing is we're trying to create space so that we can do the ministry that God has created us to do, and the ministry that He's called us to do here in the Central Florida area. The Clash is one of the things that happens as a result of that ministry, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. We'd love for you to pray for us. We'd love for you to take a look at what we're doing, and we would love, if God leads you, to invite you to contribute financially as well. You're right, I'm asking for money. But hey, if you feel guilty about it, you give. And if you feel really guilty, give more. But the website at the bottom of the screen will take you to our website where you can find out all you want to know about the space program and so much more. And so take the time and visit with us. If you can be a part of that space program, we would love to have you a part of that journey. Look forward to seeing you there and visiting with you online. Hi, welcome back. Glad you didn't go very far. Because this is the conspiracy theory episode, and we're talking conspiracy theories.
Right.
So let's go ahead and kind of begin. I'm sure that when we say that, and when something comes into everybody's mind, but let's define, or at least try to get a handle on what exactly is a conspiracy theory.
I'm so glad you asked me that, because I happen to have written some of these down, Jeff. That's the only way I can remember them, to write them down. First of all, a conspiracy, you have a secret plan by multiple people to do something deceptive or even harmful.
Okay. So with that piece of the definition then, so a conspiracy theory is by design, on purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I've got this, a conspiracy theory. A claim of such a plan without sufficient verifiable evidence. That's another one.
Okay. So then the evidence is either sketchy or non-existent.
At most, yeah.
Or fabricated.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
There you go. And then the last one, very important distinction. Skepticism always asks questions. conspiracy theories assume answers.
Okay. Okay. So asking questions about things doesn't make you a conspiracy theorist.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. It's when you assume you already know the answers.
So you default with
Right.
with a preconceived answer as you wade into it.
Right.
Okay. All right. You know what? I mean, that's a pretty extensive way to look at a conspiracy theory, because what it does is if it leaves room to be able to ask questions, ask legitimate questions,
Right.
and if you're open to answers or open to discovering truth, that doesn't make you a conspiracy theorist. It just makes you a seeker, right?
Yeah. Well, the conspirators, we got to come up with a name. They really don't want to hear your questions.
Okay.
They think you just don't believe if you ask them questions, and they don't want to answer the questions either. Because we have some conspiracy theories that are floating around right now, and we'll get into those in part 2. But that's been my experience with these conspirators is they don't like questions, and they don't like it when you go to some area that they don't feel very confident in.
Why do you think they don't like questions?
Well, it's kind of like the guy I was telling you about before we started today. He was in one of my churches, and no matter what you said to him, he would say, "Well, don't confuse me with the facts. I know what I already believe." So I think that's the way it is with the people in conspiracy theories. Is they already know what they believe, so don't try to confuse them with any facts.
Now, it seems to me that in our culture today that we label. We're pretty quick to throw the label of conspiracy theory on stuff. Anything that doesn't seem to go with the, downstream, mainstream thought, any other thought, we're quick to brand that, or others are quick to brand it as a conspiracy theory. But by the definition you offered, that's not the case. I mean, it's an alternate way of thinking. It's asking questions that may put you back in that mainstream, but it also may deviate you out a little bit. But that's not that's
Yeah.
But that's not in that definition you threw.
So when does questioning authority become rejecting reality?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, because I think that plays a big role.
Well, being a child of the '60s, we grew up under the umbrella of reject and question all authority, right? I mean, we anti-authority people, and probably I've carried that over way too long into the church realm. But neither here nor there. But we lived in a day and age where that was the school of thought. You just can't trust authority.
Right.
And so let's stop there for a minute, though. So why don't we trust authority?
I think it goes to, to some folks, doubting means wisdom. Okay. And that's not the case.
No, you're right.
So
people think when they have a doubt, it's the most brilliant thought they ever had.
Yeah.
And it's not a doubt. Usually a doubt is not brilliant at all. Usually a doubt is born out of a idiotic moment where you are in an emotional spin about something else, and you come up with this huge doubt, you think. And then the irony of that is you sit there and you think, I am the only person in the world that's this brilliant. I'm the only one that's ever asked this question. And I've never had anybody come in with a doubt about faith that I haven't heard, it seems like 100 times before. I mean, but they think they're the only ones that ever had it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, though. Why do people feel smarter when they believe they know hidden information that you don't know? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like they're guardians of some deep secret.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I don't know if we're going to talk about this, in part 2 and all, but, getting back to, there was this group of people that thought Trump was still the president, even though Biden was the president. Nope, it's really Trump. We're under military rule and all of that. And you try to talk to those people, and they think they had all of this hidden information that you didn't have, but they couldn't answer the questions that you had. If he is, then why does this happen? Well, they didn't have answers for it.
And then it begs the question, though, where did they get their hidden information?
Yeah, from somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, because again, I think that is probably one of the easiest ways, or one of the most powerful ways, that either lets you brand something as a conspiracy, not being true, or a conspiracy that is worth looking at because there's an element of truth in it.
Right.
And that is that's the battle, right? I know in our culture right now, when we're filming this, I don't know when people will watch it, but when we're filming this, we have just been through a period where there's been this huge outbreak of protest and some violence that's taken place in Minnesota,
Right.
over our ICE agents enforcing law and stuff like that. And depending on what network you listen to, you hear two very different versions of it.
Huge difference.
Yet, I am in contact and have an acquaintance who is an ICE agent, who, in the correspondence we've had back and forth, basically paints a very radically different picture than any news network gives you as to what's actually happening on the ground and why it's happening. And they're living it real time.
Right.
And so if you think, okay, how do you find your source? Because most people don't take the time to find sources to know whether something or not is true.
Well, there's a great distrust on the part of people that hold conspiracy theories, and I think that distrust can become very addictive to people. Because it gets them on board, and they feel that they know something somebody else doesn't know, and there's this big distrust, and it just gets more and more addictive as the conspiracy grows larger.
Well, have you found that people who tend to believe in a conspiracy theory is the kind of person that believes in multiple conspiracy theories? In other words, they're just not one and done. They don't have like their theory.
No, they got a bunch of them.
They got a bunch of them. So everything is a conspiracy.
Yeah, always.
Always. And why is that? I mean, why?
Well, healthy skepticism, I think, always looks for truth. But conspiracy thinking, it might try to start with some kind of certainty, which I'm not sure of, but what it's always searching for is a confirmation on what they
already
believe.
Yeah. And you know what? And everybody that's out there can hear the same story, and they hear it the same way, but yet when you run it through your own personal filter, you end up with some really different conclusions that sometimes have nothing to do with the truth.
Yep, big difference.
Well, we're digging for truth, and we're kind of tearing into the concept of what conspiracy theories are. And so we're going to take another break. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about why conspiracy theories tend to have so much life, why they keep spreading. And then we'll get spiritual for a minute.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some spiritual implications of conspiracy theories, what we can learn about our walk with Christ from not maybe the theories, but in dealing with conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Sound good?
Let's do that.
All right. Don't go anywhere.
Jeff, did you ever in your wildest imagination think that one day we would have this great TV show called The Clash, and you could actually buy T-shirts and stuff that had The Clash on? Did you ever think that possible?
Yeah, when I was 3 years old, I had a vision.
You did?
That was going to happen one day. No, I'm just kidding. I never thought about that. So.
Hey, it's just awesome, man. I mean, of course, the tagline, "Don't tap out."
Yeah.
On the hat.
Look at that.
Yeah. And then on the back of the hat, it's got The Clash. And I don't know, what you got?
Well, I've been sitting around thinking about, how could you think about The Clash 24 hours a day and at the same time hydrate?
Oh, wow.
This cup right there, look at there.
How awesome is that?
That's a mini tumbler right there.
Wow.
But you could get a coffee cup.
You know what? I need to get one of those to pour the coffee into it so it keeps it
You also could get a mug though. If you're a mug guy, you can get a mug.
Yeah.
You get a big taller tumbler that you can walk around. And so when you're walking around drinking stuff with our logo on it, people say, "What is the Clash?" And they can tell you all about the TV show.
So you need to look at that little QR code down at the bottom of your screen, and you just get your camera, your phone out, you put it on camera, and you look at that, and a little thing will come up, and you touch that, takes you right to the store. It's so easy, even I can do it.
There you go. Hi, welcome back. All you conspiracy nuts out there. We're talking about conspiracy theories. And if you came back after the commercial and wanted to continue this conversation, then there's something about you that has that inquiring mind that just, we like the bit of the conspiracy that's out there.
You think we even got a point across in that first thing?
I'm not sure what it was, but I'm sure we took a shot at it. But let's begin this segment. I want to share with you some ideas I think that of why conspiracy theories are more rampant today than maybe at any other time during history. Mm-hmm. And it's not because the theories are so good. Mm-hmm. It's just because of some other factors. Case in point, a conspiracy theory gives you a simple explanation for complex global events. Mm-hmm. Meaning, behind any story, there are so many sub-stories, subplots, and things that we just never know.
Yeah.
That if we can come up with a conspiracy theory that answers for us why, we can ignore all the other stuff that's going on, all the other factors that went into it. And that's easy to do today because, again, we get information, but we only get enough information to draw our conclusions.
Right. Chaos is scary.
Yeah.
And I think the people that, really are the ones that are pushing the conspiracy theories, that chaos is so scary that they're looking for some sort of calmness and normalness, and that's what they get from their conspiracy theory.
And see, and that's counterintuitive, right? Because when a lot of people hear about conspiracy theorists, they think they're out there stirring the pot, trying to create trouble and turmoil and chaos.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. For the most part, a conspiracy theory is born out of the need to find some kind of order and rational thread that ties together a situation that we don't understand. I mean, a minute ago, a complex global problem, I can't understand that. But give me some simple thread I can tie it all up with.
Yeah.
Even if it's a little nutty, I'll go with that, right?
Right.
I think also, conspiracy theorists, and we talked about this just a minute ago, there's something about us that likes to have hidden insider information. Mm-hmm. I know something you don't know. Mm. I am the informed and enlightened. You are the ignorant and you're not.
Right.
And as a result, my conspiracy theory, now, it's the truth. You're just not smart enough to keep up with me. There's something about people that like to be in that seat.
I think with that group, doubting is always automatically wisdom to them. Mm-hmm. Doubting what we know is to be true and putting in their little conspiracy theory. I think that it makes them automatically wise in their own eyes. Yeah. Just my thought.
Oh, no, you're right. I think you're right. I summarized what we just said about trying to find that little thread that ties it together. For some people, a conspiracy theory will give them emotional certainty in the midst of crisis or chaos, as we said earlier. Right. I mean, I think we do that for conspiracy theorists create conspiracy theories for their own sanity sometimes.
And why do people, Jeff? Why do people always feel smarter when they believe they know hidden information? Why do they think they're smarter?
I have no idea because again,
but they do.
They do. Oh, they do, and they will fight you.
Oh yeah.
Over a set of facts that aren't factual, which is, that's crazy. There's an element of crazy in conspiracy theorists. Right. I think that's fair. And there is distrust today in authority figures that gets amplified by your choice of media, how you consume media, social media, whether you get your news from Facebook, TikTok, whatever your source of pulling in facts, your facts are. And we live in a day and age where it's much easier to create and perpetuate a convincing lie than it's ever been in human history.
Yeah, a lot easier.
And there are a lot of people who are willing to believe it because, again, they trust their source, which isn't credible. But they trust their source because that's where I get my information.
Yeah, because their secret knowledge feels so powerful. Yeah.
Okay, so conspiracy theories are real, right? I mean, we've talked about that. I mean, they're real from the standpoint that people have them. But there's got to be some spiritual implications for us. Now, in our next episode, we're going to come back and talk specifically about some theories, the biggies. We'll hit some biggies.
Yeah.
But I mean, spiritually, what can we learn about following Jesus, living for Jesus, navigating a world of conspiracy theory? What can we latch on to?
Well, Jesus said he came to give us life and give it to us more abundantly. Mm-hmm. And I think if we're concentrating on what he has for us, it keeps us out of that uncertainty.
Sure.
So I think we need to have a true compass in everything, and Jesus is our compass.
Yeah.
And if we follow him and follow his directions, we're always going to point due north. And the little thing that tells you which direction, what is it? A compass. Yeah. The compass isn't going to be going all over the place. It's going to be certain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let me piggyback on that then, because what you said, I mean, I agree with, and so I think for any follower that's listening, we know that we have a definitive source of truth as a follower that we can go to, and that's the Bible.
Right.
And so the Bible even encourages us, of all things, to seek out truth, right? I mean,
right.
So again, isn't it interesting that our source of truth tells us, ask questions, dig,
right.
Seek out sources of truth. And when you're grounded in Scripture, it will solidify your beliefs, and when the Holy Spirit's at work within you, it gives you the ability to discern fact from fiction.
Right.
So for any follower out there that is prone to or gets sucked into this world of conspiracy in such a way that you just feel like you're drowning, to push back against that, check your walk with Christ a little bit, because that will help you cut through and see truth in a new light.
Yeah. And I think the people that, hold on to those conspiracy theories, they're looking for something that you automatically find in the church, and that is family.
Yeah.
Because they've got this and they try to get other people to believe along with them, they're looking for that community. They're looking for that family, but it's usually a messed up family.
Yeah.
Whereas
highly dysfunctional.
Highly dysfunctional.
Yeah.
But, in the church, you have a family.
Yeah.
That accepts you with all of your quirks and craziness and everything, but they still love you in spite of it.
Yeah.
I don't think a conspiracy group is going to be that way.
Yeah.
Because if you don't fall into what they believe, then you're not going to be a part of the family.
So you're saying the church has room for crazy Uncle Harold?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially the one down in the basement.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. I think another piece of the implications for us spiritually is simply this. You have to be aware of deception, right? Because even from the get-go, Satan was so sly in tempting Eve, because he distorted what God said just a wee bit, just a little bit. He twisted it just a little bit, and she bought it.
Yeah.
And so
it's
she
the
bought
way
a
he did
lie.
it. The way he did it too.
Yeah.
Did God really
say that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she bought a lie, but the lie was built on truth and then veered off of it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of conspiracy theory has an element or two of truth and maybe legitimate questions that might be asked. But it's just when it starts veering off and you start chasing it down a rabbit hole that you get into trouble.
All right.
And you have to be very careful of that.
Yeah.
And so if you're a follower, again, be wise, understanding we have a source of truth in Jesus. Mm-hmm. His word is truth that you need to know best. because that will give you the anchor points that you need for any conversation, any decision that you need to make. But then also beware. I mean, Satan loves to deceive you. Mm-hmm. And if he can get you thinking just a little bit off, a little bit off is still a lie. Mm-hmm. And if you're a little bit off in this area, you can be a little bit off in this area. I mean, and that's how these kind of things will spread. Mm-hmm. Very deceptive, very subtle, deceptive. Very crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question real quick, and then we're going to take a break. But sometimes conspiracy theories end up being true.
Yeah. Sometimes they do.
And so this kind of just blows everything up out of the water just a little bit, right? So it's kind of one of those, because sometimes those twists, I mean, you get to the truth through the conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Well, you have to be on your toes. It's like those people that's always predicting when Jesus is going to come back. And I often said, if I was God and I had said this is the day it's going to be, and somebody guessed it, I'd change it.
Oh, sure.
So that's the way it is with a conspiracy.
But of course, only truth says we'll never know the day, right? But I mean, again, so anyway, that's a different episode altogether. But for us right now, let's take one more break, and then we'll be back and wrap this thing up.
Jeff, do you remember the first Bible verse you memorized?
I do. I have sometimes trouble remembering the address of it, but it's John 11:35. Jesus wept. Now, when I was a kid, they were having a contest, and the goal was go home this week and come back and memorize the Bible verse. I'm a practical kid, right? I'm like, okay, what's the shortest verse I can find in the Bible? And sure enough, 2 words, Jesus wept. Fantastic, I'm on it. And so that was the first verse I ever memorized. And other people memorized John 3:16. I mean, and they were doing great stuff. But me, I just kept it simple. But I found out over time, though, that in those 2 words, I have discovered so much about Jesus and the way that he connects to us, the way he feels about us, the way he feels our pain, meets us at our point of need, his compassion and caring. It's really all wrapped up in those 2 words. And so for me, although it's silly, it's also the first verse I ever remember as a kid. Hi, welcome back. We've been talking about conspiracy theories. We want to remind you that healthy skepticism is valuable. And so nothing you've heard should ever tell you not to be a healthy skeptic. Ask questions, that's a good thing. Blind suspicion, on the other hand, is dangerous and will get you in trouble. And just being chronically suspicious of everything, that's not a good sign. That's not healthy. And that's why you have to anchor the truth. Now, we've been talking about conspiracy theories, but we need to come back in the next episode and talk about some specific ones, have some fun with those. And
That'll be fun.
And then again, make some more spiritual applications when we're done. How about that?
Oh, yeah, that sounds great. What is, in closing there, I got to ask you this. Why does evidence rarely change a deeply held belief?
Because we don't want it to change.
That's right.
I mean, we don't want it to change.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's where the conspiracy theorists are.
Right. Doesn't matter what they see. It's never enough.
They don't want it to change at all.
Sure.
But, there's some things that never change. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He said that we would know the truth and that the truth would set us free. And so let's err on the side of a very rock-solid caution.
Good idea.
And that is Jesus. Yeah. So hope you enjoyed it, and you don't want to miss next week because we're going to look at those different conspiracy theories. And we got about, 10 of them?
At least 10.
At least 10. So you're going to miss a great treat if you're not here next week. So go out, have a great week, and don't tap out.